Greetings and welcome to the next review in our mid-2018 video review series. Today I'm going to show you and smoke through a big cigar, the Sancho Panza Sanchos. And I don't believe I ever would have had the opportunity to smoke this cigar if it wasn't for you, iPads, and I wanted to thank you, mate, for gifting me this cigar to smoke and to review and to share some knowledge with some dear friends on our forum. This isn't the type of cigar that you're going to be smoking that often. And the Sancho Panza Sanchos was deleted in 2006. This cigar is a little bit older than that. The box code is NNSO-TTH-02, which utilised at the time a different type of box code. Today's box codes have a 3-letter code, a month and a date usually on the bottom of the box, but this code translates to a November 1990 boxing, so it's 28 years old. So I can't wait to smoke, see what it's like. Now I've done the cold draw and I can say it's beautiful hay on it, barnyard hay. And it doesn't seem to me to be plugged, because there's a big concern with these bigger cigars. The longer and either they're bigger or they're thinner. When they get long, I'm talking around the 6-inch mark, and around maybe a bit longer, there is a propensity to concern yourself whether they're too tight or not, just because they're a bit more difficult to roll. Anyway, I'm going to light this up. And while I do that, I wanted to talk to you about Sancho Panza as a marker. It's designated as a local marker, which there are 12 of those. And throughout the review series, we've spoken quite often about the global brands, the ones that NNSO market around the world, such as Cohiba, Hey Chapman, Monte Cristo, Partagas, Romeo and Julieta, Vita Montre, and Jose or Pedro. Those brands are the ones that we, as Habanos lovers, we're familiar with, of course. But even those that aren't familiar with Cuban cigars, they know those brands. But Sancho Panza, I wouldn't say is a brand that people, unless they're cigar enthusiasts, would be aware of. Now, Sancho Panza tends to be a marker that has a unique taste. When I mean unique, the one unique flavour in Sancho Panza that I guess makes it stand out is salt. And getting a little bit of that in this. The other flavour that you tend to get in Sancho Panza is wood, toasted tobacco or toast. If it's not toasted tobacco, it's more like toast. I know that I've been smoking through some gorgeous Sancho Panza Belicosos recently, only 2 years old, and it's got that crisp toast flavour to it. It's gorgeous. And when you age them a bit, you can get a bit of cream out of them. Just a really lovely, unique profile. I'm really glad that, despite the fact that NNSO has deleted many vitolas across the markers, especially in the last 20 years, we've been talking about it often in this review series. I'm really glad that Sancho Panza is a marker that's around, and that we have it as Habanos lovers. We have it as a marker that we could reach for every now and then, I guess, and it stands out on its own for its flavours. I'm getting a little bit of salt, some light cedar, some floral aspects, but right then, just now, I want to just puff on it again. I was getting some gorgeous, like slightly sweet flavour. It'd be like a very mild sweet licorice. Definitely beautifully refined. I mean, it is almost 30 years old, but so far so good. And the one concern that you have with cigars like this being this old is that they've gone past their shelf life or their peak time in regards to flavours. But I'm certainly getting the flavours out of this. I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to smoke through, maybe while I'm well and truly into the first third, and I'm going to discuss some more about this fantastic cigar. So, well into the first third, and the ash has gone a little bit wonky, as you can see, but that only is because it's ready to fall off, which I'll just tap into my ashtray. There you go. Flavors have stayed pretty the same, pretty much the same throughout the first third. Very light cedar, slightly floral element to it, salt, but it's all very, very mild, refined. Very, very, very different to Sancho, Panza, Belcosos, or Non Plus, because they're the two Vitolas that are left in regular production Sancho Panza. If you had one of these cigars, a Non Plus is a Petite Corona, and the Belcosos is I think the factory name is a Capanas, I think it's called, but it's 52 ring gauge by 140 millimeters long. So it looks like a slightly shorter torpedo. If you have one of those young, you'll know that you certainly know the wood or the toast flavours. They're more marked when they're younger, but this certainly no less enjoyable, and it certainly hasn't gone past its use by date. Believe it or not, it's really quite nice. Okay, I'm going to leave it there and come back when we start the second and third, discuss the cigar further. I guess I've just started the second and third now. Such a long cigar. But a few things I wanted to say about this cigar. It's actually evolved. It's picked up in intensity. Certainly more wood flavours there. Maybe, again, like I was talking about, that slight licorice that's there at times. But one thing I was thinking about while I was smoking the cigar through the first third is that unlike other markers, this cigar, the blend to me hasn't changed that much. The cigar being boxed in 1990, it's still very indicative of a Sancho Panza cigar. Very, very similar to the blend that we get from recent Sancho Panza that I've smoked. So, I mean, that's pleasing to know, because and I must acknowledge Pandy Boy, because Pandy Boy has done a video review of this cigar on our forum, but I think he had, and thank you for that, mate, for that video review. I enjoyed watching it, but I think the video review that of the cigar that he had, I should say the cigar that he had in that video review, was somewhere in the early 2000s. It was just as at least 10, 11, 12 years old than that. But it's got that aged floral wood salt notes to it. They make it quite easy, really easy to smoke. I'm going to keep smoking through this and come back and discuss more. I feel really fortunate with the cigar because they've had a good run throughout the mid-2018 video review series. Basically, all cigars I reviewed have been really well constructed. This is no exception. The ash on that's perfect. The ring's wonderful, and it's smoking wonderfully. It's not plugged, like I was saying. Longer cigars can be plugged, can be tight. If you've been want to smoke, if you have likely, I should say, smoked longer cigars, both now and in the past, talking about double Coronas or Churchills, Lonsdales, even these, I think they're called Grand Coronas. I think I'd have to look that up. I'm fairly sure off the top of my head they're called Grand Coronas. Yeah, they can be prone to being plugged. But this is definitely not like that at all. And in the flavour department, it's great, wonderful. Because there's always a fear that when a cigar peaks and you've rested it too long in the box, that you can go towards flavours that, for want of a better word, we describe as cardboard. But this certainly is not that. On the other hand, I've read of reviews where cigars have been kept in perfect conditions in terms of relative humidity and temperature, and they've been like beautiful floral bouquet smell and flavours after smoking for 30, 40, 50 years. So it all depends on how a cigar's kept and their blend, the marker. They all age differently. Great, just ashed my ashtray. So you can see well and through the second third, and slightly less intense, but when it entered the second third, but not as intense as the first third. Sorry, take that back. It's a little bit more intense than the first third, I meant to say. But still smoking really, really well. The same flavours tend to, basically there in the second third that I was picking up. Floral wood and salt. Now I just wanted to, I'll just put the cigar down. I just wanted to, I guess, discuss Sancho Panza as a marker. It's the leaves for Sancho Panza come from the Vuelta a Bayo region. Now, if you haven't seen some of the previous reviews in the series, the Vuelta a Bayo region is on the west coast of Cuba and is noted for producing tobacco plants of the highest quality. And so, in my research of Sancho Panza, and I was actually talking to Trevor Leaks, the founder of Cuban Cigar website, just yesterday about this very fact, or this piece of research that I found out. I did find one reference online to Sancho Panza, and it was basically saying that the salt in Sancho Panza could possibly be because the tobacco fields are close to the sea. And I thought, well, that's the first I've ever heard of it. Could that be true? And in my research, I couldn't find any other references to support that statement. So discussing with Trevor yesterday, I was discussing pigtails on cigars, and I was just saying to him, look, pigtails, why the pigtails are there on certain cigars, such as all Trinidad cigars, Cohiba, Coronas Especiales, and Lanceros, and Montecristo Especiales, and Montecristo Especiales number 2. Pigtails tend to be on the more premium cigars, and I just said to Trevor, look, it's just a theory. I can't find it anywhere in print. I tried to find information in regards to why pigtails are there. There's no hard and true information why that is, but I did say my theory was that the Lanceros, which came out in 1964, and I think the Coronas Especiales, which is 1967, they were given out as diplomatic cigars. They had the pigtails on there, and they were given out in an era when smoking was more prevalent, I guess, and to diplomats. And I guess I theorised, it's a theory that I had, that possibly the pigtails were there so that you could unwind the pigtail and clip it off with your thumbnail, because I would have guessed that diplomats would have had their own lighters, but maybe possibly not cutters. Again, it's just a theory. There's no hard and true information on it. And Trevor did tell me that when he was researching, he did many years of daily research, many hours of research on to give us that wonderful resource. He always verified things that he said on that website with 2 sources, which I appreciate. So that's why I did want to talk about this, because there are things that we say that come up on our forum on Friends of Urbanos, that I guess is theoretical, unsubstantiated. It could become as common knowledge. So, for example, the current situation with cigars that haven't been seen for 3 or 4 years, such as the St. Louis Ray Double Corona, or the Hoya de Monterrey, La Joya de Deux, the La Gloria Cabana Madal Dior number 2, which I think is a Dahlia's 43 by 170 millimeter cigar. All 3 of those cigars haven't been seen since 2014. And again, I was talking to Trevor about that, and I think he's saying, actually talking about the Trinidad Robusto T and the Robusto T Extra. Or should I correct myself? It was just called the Trinidad Robusto. I think it was called the Trinidad Robusto T. I'm fairly sure. The Trinidad Robusto T Extra, which is slightly longer Robusto size. It came out in 2009, deleted in 2011. Trevor was telling me that those deletions were announced by Vanos SA at that time. There was a list, and even Rob has mentioned, I think 2017 there was a deletion list, but he said, Trevor was saying that some cigars escape that deletion list and they just go and, without being announced, maybe to prevent public disappointment. I'm not sure why. Still smoking great, well into the second third. What I might do is I might leave it there and come back well and well and truly into the final third. So while I had a chance to go towards the final third, I did check a few references. The cigar is called a Gran Corona, and when I was mentioning the Trinidad cigars, one of them was called the Robusto T, which was a typical Robusto size, like a Partagas Serie D number 4, 50 ring gauge by 124 millimeters. But the longer one was not called a Robusto T Extra; it was called a Robusto Extra, and I guess that's where I had the confusion online. But I'm not sure if I did mention at the beginning of the review, this is 9 1/4 inches long, 235 millimeters long, and it's a 47 ring gauge, which is a Churchill diameter. So think Romeo Julieta Churchill, or Cohiba Splendidos, or H. Upmann Sir Winston. They're the only 3 regular production Churchill size left that are 47 ring gauge in diameter, and this is 47 ring gauge in diameter. And the only Grand Corona left is, of course, the Monte Cristo A. In the final third, it has increased, again, its intensity. I guess with regards to flavour, the wood has become way more stronger, and the floral elements have lessened. It's been slightly salty throughout. Definitely, the salt's definitely still there. But I guess I'm just grateful for the opportunity of smoke this cigar. So thank you again, iPats. It's been, a joy to have the opportunity to review this and share with some of you. If you've never smoked a Grand Corona, give it a go. If you ever get the opportunity, it's definitely a very different smoking experience. And I guess I'm thankful again because the construction's been great. It's ashed fantastically every time. And it just goes to prove that just because Cuban cigar is 10 years old, look, it's still maturing in your box. If you've kept it in good conditions, there's no reason to think that it's reached its peak or it's still not developing flavours. Certainly this cigar's 2 years short of 30 years, and it's easily, you can get very definable flavours out of it. I'm going to leave it there, and I want to say thank you for watching this review. I've got one more to go. Hopefully I'll bring it soon. But until next time, happy smoking.